Next up, Per Shams, Season 2 of the NBA Netflix series Starting Five will feature SGA, Tyrese Halliburton, James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Jaylen Brown. I think there's some really interesting names on there. James Harden, he's kind of getting into the waning years of his career. He's certainly not the player that he once was over in Houston. And you also kind of get to go through the playoffs with him because he's not a guy that is known for having the best consistency in the playoffs. So you can kind of just see his mentality, what kind of changes in the playoffs for him to where I wouldn't say he's a playoff underperformer, but he's, he might score 40 one night and certainly not score 40 the next. He might score 11 the next. And overall averages out to be a pretty decent performance, but in general, he can be inconsistent in the playoffs. SGA is one of the best players in the league, especially at his position. MVP, I believe, is going to be a two-guard race between him and Luka, so to see that will be really, really interesting. And he's also the head of not just one of the best teams in the NBA, but one of the youngest as well. So that's just a whole new element because so often the top teams are ones with a mix of veterans, mixing with some young guys, and some people in the middle hitting their primes, right? But for the OKC Thunder, most of their core, especially the big three of Chet, J-Dub, and Shea. Shea's a little bit older, but Chet and J-Dub are still really young. J-Dub's in his third year. Same for Chet, technically, although it's his sophomore year because he missed his rookie year. But, that's a really, really young team, and they've also got great chemistry, so Thunder are going to be fun to see on that series. Tyrese Halliburton is one of the best passers in the entire NBA. I think that's another guy that's going to be really interesting to watch. Just see how he gets his teammates involved. And so that's a good pick. Kevin Durant is another guy like James Harden who's in the twilight years of his career, although he's playing at a much higher level than Harden is, really. So that'll be even more interesting to see how as he ages, he continues to still play at an elite level. Kevin Durant, just one of our all-time great scorers. And last one, Jaylen Brown, I'm excited about that. This is a guy who was last year's Finals MVP, and he's still, the second option on that Celtics team, so to see the dynamic between him and Tatum, for sure, that's a good pick. I think all of these are good options, and Starting Five will be probably a must-watch for NBA fans, for sure.